Hi and welcome to Smart Design. In this episode I'm gonna show you how to crop an image if it is too big for your slide deck, how to position it within the cropped mask, how to scale and apply proper aspect ratios, how you can change the shape of the crop, for example to a heart shape or any other shape, and then how you can apply effects like borders and shadows, how you can swap one image for another, and last but not least how to create master slides with areas so that whoever is using that always has the same formatting for their images. Also, I'm going to show you the difference between fit versus fill, which might come in handy, and also in which cases which of these options is recommended. So let's jump right into it. The cropping tool is under the picture tools format, but you can also just simply double click on a picture and it will bring you to that tab. Now just click on the crop and you see the corner markers changing, and you can adjust them so that you only have the important or relevant part of the picture visible. Then you can just simply scale the image by using the round position marks on the corners. When you go to crop again, you can also move the image behind the crop mask. So what crop does is basically it's creating a window to your image. It's a crop mask and you see the grayed out area that's going to be invisible once you leave the crop modus. But in that mode you can also move the image behind and then, for example, focus here on the woman or on the man, depending on what you want to show. Hold the Shift key while operating and you can have a straight transition either horizontally or vertically. You can then again scale the image to fill the space of your slide. Use the Zoom key on the bottom to see the entire image in case it is very big, so you can still grab the anchor points and rescale the image. Again, hold the Shift key for a proportional scale here so you do not distort your original picture. Now this looks nice, doesn't it? Next up is the aspect ratio. If you already know that your image should have a certain aspect ratio, for example to print it on a photo or have a 16:9 format for videos, PowerPoint allows you to explicitly choose a certain aspect ratio. For example, portrait or landscape modes here. You can also manually add a specific measurement on the top right corner. One very handy feature is the 1:1 aspect ratio for equally sized squares that you can also use to create thumbnails for Instagram or other social media platforms, for example. Now let's just make sure that the entire family fits into the frame. Et voila, here we go. Now, does your crop area always have to be a square? No, it doesn't. You see there's another option called crop to shape, and now we can simply select the circular shape, and since we have a 1:1 aspect ratio, it's a perfect circle here. So I always recommend using the 1:1 aspect ratio together with the circle shape to avoid X. But of course you can also choose any other shape like this heart, which really suits the family well. Since PowerPoint treats it like a normal form, you can apply borders and other effects as you would normally do. If you're more interested in that, I'll create a separate video on PowerPoint effects. Now what if you have a more serious context and we want to show, for example, the members of a team, or you want to give yourself a nice portfolio? So let's just use the same picture and crop on this gentleman here, and I'll just remove a couple of those effects because, as you know, the less is oftentimes more, especially in PowerPoint. For example, a white border is way less in your face than the red border, but it still helps to set the image apart from the background. Look at our lovely couple. So this could become a wedding invitation, for example, or a team member's website design. Now what if you already have a perfect layout or shape in place, but you want to swap one image for another, for example if one of your team members changes? You don't have to recreate all the steps. You can simply exchange the image and PowerPoint will keep all the formatting, shadows, borders, and crop masks that you have previously selected. For this, simply right-click on the image, and in the newer versions you already can select Paste from Clipboard, which is even easier once you have copied any other image into your clipboard with Ctrl+C, for example. On the older versions of PowerPoint, you can just select a file from an online storage or from your file system, and you see all the formatting stays the same, and now we have the image exchanged. Now, what if you create a slide master so all your colleagues can use the same formatting that you have and easily paste in pictures without having to go through all those steps? You can also do this by clicking on the slide master option in the Views tab and then adding a picture placeholder. I just give it a background color here so you see the shape of the picture placeholder better, and with the Edit Shape tool I can also change it into a circle, for example. Now I reset the slide master here and you see how this form is now available on my slide. Now when I paste a picture in, for example clicking Ctrl+V on the keyboard, it is automatically placed in position, it's already cropped, it already has the nice circle around it, and it has all the formatting that I defined previously. Now I want to show you the difference between the picture placeholder and the content placeholder. Both allow you to place pictures. The picture placeholder is restricted to pictures. Content also allows you to insert smart forms or texts, but also pictures. I just name it content here so you know which is which. Give it a different background color, reset the slide, and now we see both forms here available. If you do this for colleagues, you should call it something like insert picture here so they know what to do here, or insert portrait. So what happens if I paste the same picture in the picture placeholder versus into the content placeholder? Let's find out. In the picture placeholder, it is perfectly centered and cropped, and this shape of the mask stays the same. Whereas in the content placeholder, the shape of the mask is adjusted to the aspect ratio of the pasted picture. So here we have a portrait format picture and our circle becomes an egg. If you're already using a template where this is happening, you can simply exchange the content placeholder with a picture placeholder to prevent this for future. Now, does this mean that the content placeholder is useless? Not at all. There are applications where you might not want the placeholder to crop your image and rather show the entire content of it. For example, if you're creating an overview of materials, pasted in this photo of a laptop with some glasses in a very extreme, so I can only see a part of it, and as a user I would not be able to tell exactly what I'm looking at. Whereas on the right side the image gets shrunk and I can still see the entire picture, but it does not take more space on the slide than the placeholder allows to. So if you have text flowing around, it would not overlap that text, which is quite a nice feature. Of course, you can still use the crop tool in order to adjust the size of your image and focus on what you want to show. One good practice before saving your file is to actually compress the file size and delete all the cropped areas that you don't want to show any further. This just helps the file size to stay low, especially if you want to send it via email or store it on a cloud drive. I suggest using the screen resolution unless you really intend to print high quality prints. This is totally fine and your colleagues will thank you. Now, as you see, we just deleted all the parts that were outside this circular area, so all the flowers on the bottom and the sky got lost in this case, but that doesn't matter because we already placed the image exactly where we wanted it. It also means that now if you want to upscale the image, the resolution is of course way lower. So we lost a lot of details here, which you don't notice in the small size. But if I would now try to reattempt placing this gentleman on the slide, you definitely see how pixelated his face has gotten, and that is just due to the compression. That's it for today. I hope you learned something. If so, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. It would really mean the world to me to grow this small channel and be easier found on YouTube. Thank you so much, and see you next time on Smart Design.